Greetings all the listeners out there who are tuned and join us doing the program with a commentary. So having given word to our sponsors, we're going to get right into the program. And I love to have my guests introduce themselves because with the pronunciation, I get it wrong sometimes. So welcome to Voices, and let's hear from...
Bonjour.
Bonjour, that's good. That's good to say.
Good morning to everyone. So my name is Marine Monco, and I'm the director of the Alliance Française de Saint-Kitts-and-Nevis.
And today we're here to discuss a program that was launched officially on...
So we started a program on Wednesday, last Wednesday, the 2nd of December. This program is called the Cross-Cultural Carnival Dialogue.
The Cross-Cultural Carnival Dialogue.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's a program online. It's free. It's open to anyone who would be interested to hear a bit more about the carnival, and not only the carnival here, the carnival in the French-speaking regions.
Example?
So Guadeloupe, Martinique, but we also have speakers from Saint Martin, Dutch Saint Martin, French Saint Martin, Dominica. So this is an entire series of discussions. It's going to be every Wednesday on the month of December from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And we're going to speak about different topics. And every Wednesday we have a different focus. So last Wednesday we had kind of the official opening.
Yes.
Yeah. We had a representative from the carnival committees. So we had the president, the chairperson of the carnival of Saint-Kitts-and-Nevis. Yes, correct. We had the president of the committee of the carnival in Guadeloupe, Mr. Abar. And we also have the representative for the carnival in Fort-de-France, in Martinique, Mr. Yvon Lamorandière. So the carnival has a different setup in each island. There is no committee in Martinique, for example. It's kind of a community celebration, and it's handled by the city council of Fort-de-France. Yeah.
Whereas we here and in other territories, we have an actual carnival committee with chairpersons and, who actually run the entire program. So it is carnival time in our federation around this time of year. It is overlap between Christmas and the carnival celebration. From your initial discussions last Wednesday, I know you had local representative.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mr. Clement Ogaro was the moderator.
Yes.
Okay, and what about the level of interest shown?
Well, we had also representatives from institutions. We had a permanent secretary as well who were present.
This is a big thing.
Yeah, and we had also the mayor of Fort-de-France and also Mr. Laguerre, and we also had the president of the Commission of Culture of the region of Guadeloupe. So we had enough representatives to hopefully make things happen in the future.
Okay.
And so the entire point is to develop exchanges through dialogue, because this is kind of the only thing we can have right now.
Yeah.
But it's in preparation for 2021 and to set up a channel, a new channel of communication between Saint-Kitts-and-Nevis and Guadeloupe and Martinique, mostly, Saint Martin as well, in order to have more exchanges with the French-speaking islands and for them to have more exchange with Saint-Kitts-and-Nevis.
And this was initiated by...
And this one is initiated by the Alliance Française de Saint-Kitts-and-Nevis in our mission of promoting the French culture, but also the local culture where we are, where we are so the culture of Saint-Kitts-and-Nevis as well as the culture of the French Caribbean territories. We had a very good interest from these representatives and also the president of the committees of the Carnival, hoping that it could develop some more collaborations in the future. We have been helped by the Department of Culture, of course, from St. Kitts and Nevis, and we have been in partnership with the St. Kitts and Nevis Carnival Committee as well, and an organization which is based in Guadeloupe, which is now named Carib Horizon, and which missions is to develop project cooperation.
Okay. I know you mentioned about the exposure or more of an introduction to the French culture in St. Kitts throughout the region. But beyond that, why do you think it's important that we have that cross-cultural development, that dialogue in terms of culture, the carnival, etc., etc.?
Well, during the COVID-19, we have faced difficulties, but we also realized a few things. A few things is that we have to look at more options in the terms of the region, locally, and also regionally. The second aspect is that we also know that, Guadeloupe has joined the OECS as a member in 2000 last year.
2000 last year,
Yeah.
okay.
And Martinique in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, 15 even. So it means that there is kind of already an institution step, from the French territories to be part of the Caribbean regions who are mostly speaking English. And so this is a kind of a first step to develop exchanges in terms of culture, because the institution is one thing, business is another thing, culture is very important in terms of the Caribbean identity.
We here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I would say the same in Antigua, we tend to look among the English-speaking territories when we're discussing carnival and similarities, etc. Now, we know that the celebration of carnival was a result of the emancipation of the slavery celebration. So even though there are similarities in terms of purpose, the root cause for the celebration, I would suggest that, as you mentioned in Martinique, they don't have an established carnival committee. It's run by the council. Does the same pertain in Guadeloupe?
No, the Guadeloupe has an office, but these two territories are handling the carnival a bit in a different ways.
Way. Okay. Friends and Martin, I know, celebrate to some level of carnival, but I'm not sure if the message is the same. So the bridge you're trying to establish, the cross-cultural dialogue, the ultimate aim is to what? Because we know when it comes to dancers and performers, it's easy for us to go to the next territory and perform. Now, it's an example that you were able to get a group because of this to generate enough interest, not only to send a delegation to St. Kitts, but to send performers. The language issue. We know about the Zouk influence in the music. How would that work? Is that part of your aim, so you can take a troop, not only from the dialogue because of COVID-19, but send ambassadors, so to speak, cultural ambassadors, in terms of performers and do exchange? That serves to bridge the gap in terms of the French, the way the French and, say, the English-speaking territories celebrate Carnival. We look at their customs, what they do different to us, and thereby better educate ourselves as to the various forms that culture can be expressed.
Exactly. That's the entire point. It's about getting an exposure from both sides. Well, not only both, because we are more parties involved, but from the Martinique side, the Guadeloupean side, St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, St. Martin. For those who are listening, but also for the participants, to get a bigger exposure of how is the carnival practice in other territories. So how within the entire Caribbean regions you have the carnival celebrated. This is our common point. And the common point has so much of a diversity in it, so much of diversity of expressions. So yes, of course, language is part of an expression, but music, dance, any other channels of expressions are possible to make a collaboration happening.
We've celebrated with the Exile Ones, the big bands of the Dominica in the day, and the Gramax band. They were well known, very, very, very well known and received in St. Kitts and Nevis. Even though we can sing we interpreted the song, what do we say? We sang, we mimicked.
Well, that's the same way I sing in English.
There you go. And so what level of support are you looking for from the local practitioners, from committee members as relates to carnival, established dance group, etc.? We need to get them on board. What about the outreach to them? This platform that you've established as a Wednesday. How do we get them the awareness?
Mm-hmm.
Because as you've mentioned, and I've seen people glance and then move on.
Yeah.
How do we capture the interest?
So of course we have to deal with Zoom, and
Well-
but not only. So as we are speaking virtual, an option which is virtual, we have been putting some technical system in place for viewers who are speaking English, will be able to follow the entire conversation English only on the Facebook of the Alliance Française.
Okay.
For those who want to see it only and completely in French, they will look at it on the YouTube of our partner in Guadeloupe, YouTube channel Carib Horizon. And for those who want to test the
There will
interpret
be-
services,
Okay,
with
interpreters.
both
Okay.
exactly on Zoom, you can log on to Zoom. We have shared all of the links on our Facebook page. I cannot give you the link right now because no one is with the pen and ready to type.
Well, we can let them know that the link will be mentioned after our next station break
Yes.
in the next 5 minutes, so they can be ready to record that information.
Mhm.
But I'll continue because we know we have lots of talent here in Dominica, in Martinique. That bridge, that linkage is fundamentally important as a Caribbean identity.
Yes.
We in the English-speaking territories focus mainly on the English side of things. But the talent, the expressions in music is rich, it's all-encompassing.
Mm.
And so I want to thank you for taking that initiative. Your next venture, your next viewing, this afternoon there's
That's a internal meeting.
internal,
Yeah.
okay. To
But-
try to, but we're speaking this morning to try to generate more interest. Are there any particular groups here in St. Kitts that you would like to reach out to? Any member of society, any organization they would like to seek more support?
Well,
But let me ask you first. What has been the response from the Department of Culture directly? We're going to go there firstly.
sorry.
What has been the response?
Well, we have
Directly.
been cooperating on that. The Department of Culture has been a center of resource for me because.
So there's
I had
cooperation.
to- of course, we have been cooperating to be able to build up this program and to have all of the speakers. So, for example, on Wednesday we have the Calypsonians. So there is someone called Socrates who will be.
I've
who
heard
will
of that
be
fellow.
singing.
I've heard of the fellow.
And then, yes, between the harp
kind of harp
plays.
plays?
And then there will be also King Baker Jr.
King Baker Jr.
from St. Martin.
from
He
French
has
St. Martin.
getting some exposure during the quarantine
COVID,
time
yes.
for the Extempo
The
challenge
Extempo
that I
song that
wanted to
started.
do that I never did, but it's
Yes.
okay.
But you can still do it. We would love to hear you
Well,
do.
not now.
You want to start now?
No.
Chana, 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 chana,
No, thank you.
No.
But yes, it's about finding ways of getting the interest of the public through different focus. So Wednesday it will be the Calypso, but not only Calypso with the contribution of the aspect of St. Kitts and Nevis with you, St. Martin with King Baker Jr. and his
And his
cousin.
friends,
His cousin.
Fish the Boss.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And we also have Mr. Gordon Henderson, who is the singer of Exile One in Dominica, but is also speaking French and is very linked to the Guadeloupe. He has been very big. He has been a very big singer,
Footprint,
very
yeah.
famous in the 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
And the style that they created is a cadence calypso, so which is a mix, like a creolization.
Cadence Lipso.
Yes, of cadence
I know
rhythm.
about the cadence that we played back then, and the influence was mainly from them. Interestingly, in Nevis, there is Baholo the Meek. He presented on stage during the last tent as Sackcloth and Ashes.
Yes, I know.
His name was Baholo the Meek. And he created in Nevis what was known as cadre.
Oh, yes?
Can we take over now? Can we?
Well,
a
I'm
nice,
going to reach out to him then.
a beautiful beat
As he speaks
that
French
gave
too.
Nevis. I don't think he's French.
He speaks.
He does. I see. Okay. He's a former educator also. Very cultural and very creative. So that song back in the early 80s, I think, was a big hit across the region. You know, and the rhythm has been somewhat attempted at being replicated. They never quite got it. So Nevis has the distinction of that particular rhythmic thing with the cadre. And so we heard about, you say, Cadence Calypso?
Cadence Lipso.
Cadence Libiso. He established back then cadre,
Mm-hmm.
which is,
Interesting.
you
You
know.
see, we always have to learn. Well, I have always to learn.
So reach out to him because he would be instrumental in establishing what was a fusion of rhythms between the Afro-Caribbean calypso traditional beat and the French influence.
Mm-hmm. Well, the cadence Lipso and the cadence that would be in Dominica would have been the ancestors or the beginning of the zouk afterwards.
Hmm.
So it's really interesting.
I'm
to
not
have
sure if
this-
Zouk was before, but it's we can look at that.
Mhm. It would be an interesting discussion as it is about the variation, of the calypso. In
Uh-huh.
France, people would know calypsonians. Like recently in 2017, Calypso Rose has been getting the victory of music for the best album in 2017.
Mhm.
So people would know here and there some calypsonians, but mostly her because she's huge in France.
I think Arrow had quite a following in France
Mhm.
also.
Yes,
But,
most probably. Well, recently there is a big exposure of Calypso Rose.
So this, what we're doing now, what you've started, would help to get Calypsonians from St. Kitts and the wider region on the road to that kind of reception in France or the French-speaking territory, and perhaps.
It's a first step, and we have invited guests. I mean, my first experience, surprisingly, was to work for the Carnival of Bordeaux. I'm from Bordeaux, and I was
That's France.
working, yes, in the Carnival
Mhm.
there. And so there was the presence, and there will be the presence of programmers from Bordeaux who would have a look at it.
How can I sign up? Ha ha ha. We're going to take a word from the sponsors, and when we get back, we'll give that information about the linkage, how people can join us, and we take it from there, okay?
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Clap and Rams, the good food people. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas from Rams. This Christmas at Rams Supermarket is free. This December, shop all Rams supermarkets and take advantage of all the in-store specials and free giveaways. Celebrate Christmas with Rams, where you're guaranteed better prices, better quality, and better value for your money. Happy holidays from Rams, the good food people.
Terms and conditions apply. See in stores for details.
If I can make one wish come true, it's to spend Christmas with
And Flow brings us all closer together with special Christmas offers for you, like free installation of high-speed internet for your home when you sign up. On the go, top up $35 and enjoy 2 gigabytes bonus data. Plus, enjoy great handset savings to share every special moment. Flow connects you to all you want for Christmas. Conditions apply.
Found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
Are you wondering what to do this holiday season? Will it be the same? Will you be able to give your family all that they need? Well, with TDC Financial Services, all your holiday woes will disappear. You can get up to $35,000 unsecured for your holiday needs. Give us a call at 465-6516 or 469-5430 to find out how we can help to make your holidays happier for you and your family. TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
If I can make one wish come true, it's to spend Christmas with
And Flow brings us all closer together with special Christmas offers for you, like free installation of high-speed internet for your home when you sign up. On the go, top up $35 and enjoy 2 gigabytes bonus data. Plus, enjoy great handset savings to share every special moment. Flow connects you to all you want for Christmas. Conditions apply.
Clap and Rams, the good food people. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas from Ram.
This Christmas at Ram Supermarket is free. This December, shop all Ram Supermarkets and take advantage of all the in-store specials and free giveaways. Celebrate Christmas with Rams, where you're guaranteed better prices, better quality, and better value for your money. Happy holidays from Rams, the good food people.
Terms and conditions apply. See in stores for details.
Say good morning to our viewers and listeners once again. In case you're just joining us, we are discussing cross-cultural collaboration with the director of Alliance Francaise, who is with us in the studio at the moment. Before we get back to the discussion, let's say good morning to some folks up there in the U.S. One, Brenda O'Neill, celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Brenda. And to Linda Jones, who just joined us. How are you doing, young lady? All is well? DJ Marisha, New York Joe, Peter Development Bank folks who joining and give us the commentary. Chris Collins up there in Sheffield, London. Welcome to the program. Thanks for joining us. Now, before we took a break, we were discussing, Irene, that you would share some information about the linkage of folks who would like to join us or join the program.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fundamentally important that this link is established. The more we can get the information out there to how many persons. Nobody wants to go on a Zoom and you're sharing vital, important information, and there's hardly any interest shown from the public. So we're going to do what we can to get the information out there. The numbers to call if you wish to join us and make a contribution are 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. And from the New York area, you got 718-265-6948. Florida, 508-921-4619. From the UK, Chris, 0333-044-0065. Those are your contacts to get into the conversation. Now, Ms. McCool, it's all yours.
You want me to give you the ID for the Zoom?
No, give the people.
You all?
I'm the people?
Yeah.
The people want to hear what we call Sonians.
Well, you can log on to the Facebook page of the Alliance Française de St. Kitts and Nevis, and there you can even see and watch the session of last Wednesday,
Okay.
which was streamed live, and that you can review it as well. Then the Zoom meeting, if you have everything
Zoom.
ready, that would be. It's a bit longer. It's okay.
Well, they have pen and paper. They were told to
Okay. So it will be 811-6869-3310. I say it in French now. No, I guess it's okay in English. 811-6869-3310, and the password would be 9454387. 954-387. But you can always contact the Alliance Française de St. Kitts and Nevis on Facebook. You can follow it on Facebook Live without having to worry about the interpret services and or the Zoom link. And you can always send a message to our WhatsApp 667-9019, and we can share you all of the content, posters of all of the sessions, the Zoom link, etc.
Okay. Be prepared to give that out a few times before we leave. Okay. Now, I happened to see you at the Legends Calypso tent not last one, but the previous Saturday evening. You were there with your friend. You went to see the show. It was different to what you experienced last year when we did have the challenge of COVID, and you were able to mingle with a larger audience. There was no live stream, etc. So there's a big difference in between there and now. But you returned this year, and you're showing a demonstrated interest in Calypso, the local culture, how it works, etc. Being involved in Carnival in France, of course, there'll be a huge difference in what happens there. Their Carnival, what they put on the street and call Carnival, and what we do.
Yeah.
But your interest in the show What was your experience being there? Very small, limited audience, etc. Speak to us about your experience, what you observed, what your impressions are, etc., and how you think that this could work on the platform that you're trying to establish.
The Calypso?
Yes.
Well, I have an interest for Calypso for sure, as I love the expressions of culture, and I love when it has a message, when it carries a message, and when it's representing the social and the
We
cultural
ask for the
background.
callers. So, caller, welcome to Voices. Please, let's hear from you.
Good morning, the King.
Good morning, Sir Africa. How are you?
I'm giving thanks. And yourself?
I am giving thanks myself. We're thankful.
And may I say good morning to your guest?
Morning.
King, I'm trying not to be facetious or not to be controversial. But I'm just curious, and as we all know, the cultural calypso expression is an art form, and with any other discipline, there are benefits to be had. Today we will hear words like patent rights and all these rights. Just a couple of days ago, I was listening to a conversation, and I'm not going to really lay blame on anyone, but I listened to a conversation where, as we are aware that there are certain artistic expression, whatever we want to call them, artifacts, in different genre of artisan, that a crown, I think, was given back to the country of Madagascar from the French. And I'm not saying your guest is a representative of the French government, not by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just being facetious.
Why?
Pardon me?
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I'm a type of person who likes a conversation. There are benefits to be had from any conversation.
I understand that.
Anyway. Huh?
I understand that.
Yes. And if my recollection serves me right, I think another art form and expression, and I listened to that famous song, Jerusalem, played
Yes.
by a pianist from Trinidad and Tobago. It's probably the pan is the tenor pan, the leading pan.
Yes,
And
yes.
another gentleman, a saxophonist. Wow. You know, because you have the different genre of that Jerusalem.
I am not getting your point, Africa.
Pardon me?
I'm not getting your point.
You're not getting my point?
No.
Okay, so I'm going in there.
Pardon?
If my recollection serves me right, and may I ask a question to you, the King?
Sure, go ahead.
Where did the pan
Originated in Trinidad.
instrument was developed?
In Trinidad and Tobago.
In Trinidad and Tobago.
That is correct. And Sweden went and patented it because Trinidad and Tobago did not patent that instrument. And so there's a legal challenge to it. Who owns the right to it?
This is where I'm getting at with my conversation, the King. Because we are being lackadaisical for whatever reason. Who would drop the ball? If we drop the ball, that is what's going to happen. That is where I'm getting at. I did mention, you hear the word patent being bandied about.
I know.
And who has developed, apart from the local developers, for their own, because Trinidad Calypso is a big thing, as we know. It modeled probably, it originated in its own, and it would have borrowed modification, as we can know that Brazil is a bigger aspect of that carnival, and then Trinidad to us in the Caribbean. And so we, from time to time, the Trinidadian troops will come here and the likes. This is where I'm getting at, the king. How far has that pan? How far has that pan gone? As opposed to the originators of that pan. Is it? The bottom line, is it? The Trinidadians are benefiting from that pan instrument, the creation of that pan instrument, the way it ought to. As other instruments has persons who have benefited from other instruments that was created to, give out certain expression. This is what I'm getting at. If we drop the ball, we wouldn't be the beneficiaries of nothing.
I understand that. We are discussing cross-cultural collaboration with St. Kitts, Dominica, with French-speaking territory. The Director of Alliance Francaise has initiated a program to assist in developing and linking our collective cultures, the carnival platform. How do you do things, Dominica?
I understand all of that.
So I don't understand.
Just being facetious.
Yeah,
you have heard of dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's?
Yes, but we're discussing
Thank you,
sharing
thank
our music, not selling it to France.
I'm good. I'm in agreement with that because it doesn't matter who we were colonized, be it the French, the English, or the French. We are one people. What if like my father told me a story?
And so,
is
identifying what we have and giving it life.
Yes, it's all good. It's all
Is
good.
identifying what we have, not trying to take it from one country or next and say, well, this is ours. Is identifying the cultures, how we celebrate Carnival in the various islands within the Caribbean basin. And see if we can get a collaboration. Look at the world, how it's changed through COVID-19. You can't travel, but through Zoom you can share that experience and build on it. This is what this is all about. So I don't understand the link to Madagascar and giving back to France, etc. So that is what I'm telling you, I didn't get you.
And controversial. I like to raise issues where issues are not raised.
Okay.
I'm about bringing awareness on all levels. Thank you for listening.
Not a problem, sir. Not a problem. Okay. We were discussing. Oh, I lost my train of thoughts. I can't slip with that. Where were we, if you recall?
Sorry?
Where
We were speaking about the Calypso.
Oh, yes, you were the tense and you have a love for Calypso based on...
Well, an interest, I wouldn't say.
Interest.
So for now, I'm not a specialist on that.
Because of the expressions and the license you were saying, stuff like that? Okay, please continue.
Yes. So the how it is representing the societies or passing through messages. It's an art form, and it's also a way of way that then the artist can express themselves, and it can have a lot of irony or sarcasm, and using a lot of.
And there's a
freedom of
history and the
speech.
reason for that, but it lends to the creative ability of the Calypsonian, the writer, to bring what's called double entendre, and that's a French expression, to give more life and entertainment to the song. Because you don't want to hear, well, that's a green wall and it's painted with a green brush, etc. You want to have a little nuance, a little humor, a little double entendre. Why is some of the green wall and, So, yeah, the creative aspects. And we are now a few days from the elimination phase and they're selecting some 15 Calypsonians this year.
You're fearful? How are you?
It's a competition. And the people who go into a competition feeling, well, they have it down pat, so to speak. They don't need to worry about, On that given night, you have to respect every entry that's been selected by the judges. You may not agree, but you have to respect every person that comes on stage. I saw some very, very outstanding performances on Saturday night. I have my opinions. I have seen some experience expressed that I agree with and I may not. But it's all about competition and perception. So I think we're going to have a great show. COVID-19 notwithstanding, I'm not happy with the news that there won't be any live audience. That was mentioned by the chair, that there won't be any live audience whatsoever. But there was a but there someplace. And okay. But I think being in St. Kitts and being able to catapult this carnival, this competition around the world.
Yes, a lot of viewers.
Based on the linkages that you're making, I know that Guadeloupe will be logged on, Martinique, Dominique, etc. Because the question, how is it done? How can we replicate or even try to do what? So it's important to have this.
Exactly, it can be used as a pilot.
Yes.
As a pilot for the other carnivals who are all suspended in the region, and people don't know what's going to happen this year because it has been.
So what would you say to Dominica about hosting the carnival is in February? When is this?
I think
it's on the same time with Trinidad's sort of concert. One of those there. So what would you say to them in terms of if they would have a similar experience, God forbid, around that time next year, based on what you've witnessed here in St. Kitts?
To Dominica? Well, Dominica is not really a French territory.
They speak Creole,
they speak
but
Creole, yeah.
okay.
So they have quite a lot of exchanges.
So let's
with
take Martinique or
Guadeloupe and Martinique.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, as the setup is different, you don't have like a chairperson for the committee. There is a president of the office, for example, in Guadeloupe, but this president is mostly.
On the Department of Culture, Office of Culture?
No, it will be different, but well, the setup is a little different. But the way they would they operate is about promotion. So, for example, we heard that the winning troupe, I don't know until what extent, because I don't would get the possibility to participate to another carnival as the prize. So that can be.
You mean here in St. Kitts or from Guadeloupe?
In Guadeloupe.
In Guadeloupe, okay.
So it means that this could be an option to consider for them to consider St. Kitts and Nevis, you know, for the.
So they'll be sent to a next carnival in the region too.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know until what extent, because the troop can be 5,000 people. So
I have seen in London for some 3 years the troop from Brazil. The numbers, the many sections, large troops, and I'm wondering who funds this. We're talking about, like I can say, let me say thousands of people in one troop, the different colors, different sections, and every year I've been there, Brazil would win. The turnout. I'm thinking, how many of these traveled by plane? How many live here? I mean, the costumery, the drums, it's like, man, unbelievable. Dominica is also very well represented. So if that's the impetus or the prize that if you demonstrate well in this carnival, we can send you to St. Kitts to participate and so on. We will love that. But it's got to be cross-culture.
Yep.
So what does St. Kitts send to Guadeloupe, to Martinique, etc.? This is what you're trying to build into.
Yes, we're trying to build a bridge. After the bridge, people would take it or not. So it's about getting a bit more exposure about the carnival formula in St. Kitts and Nevis towards this island and vice versa. After the cooperation will be much more powerful if it's between artists, you know. The interest will be much more powerful if the artists themselves, the troops themselves, feel a need or an interest in collaborating. Then we are here to put that in place. Yeah, but there is no. We won't put a bridge if there is no interest. The bridge.
Earlier this year, there was a program where we're trying to. When I say we, because you brought me aboard to be part of that, to identify talent throughout the region, visual, performing arts, etc. And the winners of those categories would be given what again? Remind us. They were sent to.
They were sent to. They got French classes actually.
French lessons, free of cost.
Yes, and also trainings in their own fields.
And contracts.
Yes.
To record.
Yeah. This is ending in December, this program. But actually, this is also, we have been getting some help from this program.
Were there any winners from St. Kitts who were able to benefit from that?
I think we got 3 to 5 participants from St. Kitts and 3 got selected, yes. But this is
the problem. Not a lot of people know about it.
Yeah,
so this is what we're trying to address. Persons from Sinkers were able to win or place highly in that competition. They were awarded free French lessons, were able to travel, paid for by Alliance Francaise.
Well, by an original program.
All right, and were given recording contracts or whatever, something like
Yes.
that. Right. How do we not know? Maybe you want to change that next.
Well, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Might want to change the headphones and they might give better reception and they don't have to be like on a short leash.
A fisherman.
Is it better there?
It should be
Change it,
okay,
so
don't worry.
We're having a little technical challenge here that we're going to sort out momentarily. But yes, earlier this year there was a program where our persons across the region were invited to send an entry, whether in French, English, etc. And you were judged. I was one of the judges, one of the panel of judges. I think we went to Barbados with another lady from the Department of Culture. We had a nice workshop, discussed the whole program, and there were a limited amount of entries. We had in visual arts, performing arts, all the various arts platforms.
Yes. This program was called Integrate French as a Language of Exchange. And we have different... it's a regional project, so Alliance are involved, but we are not the pilot.
Yeah.
So we have different sections in it. We have education, culture, entrepreneurship as well. So we are hoping to develop one section of entrepreneurship soon. So I will get you informed about this.
Definitely.
And the culture went through, and the educational went through, and we had trainings for French teachers in schools, and facilitating DELF exams, which are the certification exams for the students to have a level internationally recognized in French. And actually, on the 14th of December, 16 students from two schools, Charles Emile Secondary School and Keyon schools, will be sitting for DELF examinations. So we had we have about 10 teachers who were trained to be examiners. So yes, it's a lot of resources that have been put in place and trainings, etc. We are starting to see the results, but it's still a process. We still have to develop more and more possibilities. It takes time to create. It takes very fast to destroy something, but to create it, it's a very long process.
So how do we get more of the word out there? Because apart from the folks who contact the Alliance Francaise directly, how do we get like what has now been attempted out there more, like what happened earlier in the year? A lot of folks didn't know about it.
Well, I would invite people to follow the Alliance Française, either to be a member, either to get our email, to be part of our database, to be supporting our center too, because we are a local organization. I would repeat that I'm not representative of the French government, just to clarify that, and we are a non-profit organization, so we are promoting culture and language. So we can put a little aside the political aspect as we are trying to contribute to more collaboration on the level of culture and education. So more education for the children and more culture between our islands.
Well, even against the backdrop of what was our number one foreign revenue earner, tourism, we attracting international travelers with various language, French, Italian, Spanish. I mean, you have Spanish from Brazil, from Spain, from Puerto Rico, and so I think you were instrumental. I was one of the persons who went to your institution to try to learn French, to be more...
to be a bit more?
Yes. But was there any collaboration, any interest shown from the Department of Tourism and Alliance Francaise to try to get students or persons involved in that?
Yes, the St. Kitts Tourism Authority has been supporting us for the past years as a sponsor to help our center to operate.
Beautiful.
Because we are targeting we are helping students to be fluent in French, and then they can use it as a tool for tourism services. So we are trying to develop that aspect. I can't speak much as yet, but I'm working on that for 2021 to be able to have something on the tourism aspect, to develop a bit more, like one project on giving French classes on that aspect, which is the perfect moment right now, as the tourism economy is a little slow.
I am told to let you speak that I'm speaking over you.
Ah, yes. That's French usually. That's
So Ranger says, King, please let her speak. You are speaking over her. So I'm gonna hush. We got about 3 minutes before the midday newscast, so I'm gonna hush. You go ahead.
okay. So like this, I can speak about the next Wednesdays. So really, we invite all of you to be logging in to the Zoom or to check on our Facebook page the cross-cultural carnival dialogue. So lots of people are following the Calypso, and even from abroad. So you are all welcome to follow that series of discussion. Next Wednesday, so this Wednesday on the 9th of December, it's about Calypso. But the 16th of December, it will be about the traditional troops. So we're going to have representative of the masquerades, the Valence masquerade. We have the banker mass camp represented. We have also the doctor of culture,
Zach Nisbet.
Zach Nisbet, who will be speaking about also the actors and all of the tradition in the carnival. On the side of the Guadeloupe and the Martinique, we would have traditional troops as well, speaking about their own practice. And in Guadeloupe, it's called the Groupe à Peau, the skin group, because they are playing on drums.
Skins.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to have a person who is the lead of the Organization for Research and Tradition in Martinique. So a lot on tradition. For example, we saw last Wednesday that they have a character called the Diable, le Diable, the devil.
The devil, yes.
And which is in red and which is
Yep.
almost a bit similar to our bull, maybe, if we could do a little comparison, even though the tradition is very different and the story for the bull here is a local story, as I would, if I understood well. But it might have roots that are beyond that, coming from
European
which is in
influence.
common. Yeah. So that's the 16th of December. We have on the 23rd of December, we have a series of discussion on Jouvert. So in Martinique, it's called Jour Ouvert, which is the day open, which is the entire word.
We just said Jouvet.
Yeah, Jouvet.
Jouvet.
Yep. And so we have a representative of Jouvert troops here. We have Mr. Ronnie Rascal. We have the Red Devils, the Lausanne Laws and Antoine Laws. We have Stacey Hobson, who will be like somehow like the character of the Jouvert every year.
This is well thought out. It is well thought out, the whole process.
Well, and then we have also the representative of Mass Pyjamas and Mass Matin in Guadeloupe and Martinique, because they have something like similar to Jouvert, but which is a little different.
We got 30 seconds up to the midday newscast. We're going to ask our listeners and viewers to stick around and join us after, as we'll be continuing the conversation. Amber, Louis Hodge, Dominic Anguilla, good morning. It's not yet midday, so good morning. I'll speak to you and others after we return. I want to thank Miss Maku, call it that. Okay, I got it right for the first time.
No.
For joining us in the first half of Voices, and we will speak to you on the second half after the midday newscast. Take it away.
Thank you.
98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
We now bring you the Win FM Headline News. The Win FM Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, Carib Brewery, CNC Trading.
Without limits, happy and free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. With LLB. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime, and bitters. Live, love, be.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Merry Christmas. 'Tis the season to save with Delayed Enrollment and Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Purchasing a new car this Christmas? Save up to 65% off. Yes, that's 65% off your motor insurance premiums. Switch and save up to an additional 30% discount on your premiums. Visit us at Liverpool Road, Bastier, St. Kitts, or Hunkins Drive, Nevis. Call 465-2631 or 469-5303. Promotion ends December 31st. Quotations valid until January 15th. Terms and conditions apply. 'Tis the season to save up to 65% off. Merry Christmas, everyone.
That was the Win FM Headline News, brought to you by KDP Enterprises, Caribbean Alliance, Carrie Brewery, CNC Trading, The Grange.
Merry Christmas. 'Tis the season to save with Delayed Enrollment and Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Purchasing a new car this Christmas? Save up to 65% off. Yes, that's 65% off your motor insurance premiums. Switch and save up to an additional 30% discount on your premiums. Visit us at Liverpool Road, Bastier, St. Kitts, or Hunkins Drive, Nevis. Call 465-2631 or 469-5303. Promotion ends December 31st. Quotations valid until January 15th. Terms and conditions apply. 'Tis the season to save up to 65% off. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
The Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Mr. Gaston Brown, is accusing Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines of attempting to undermine his country's efforts to revive the fortunes of the debt-ridden regional airline, Liat. Liat has had to suspend services to Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines after the airline was informed that it had to make new entry arrangements. Mr. Brown, speaking on Point FM in Antigua, said Liat is being asked to comply with instructions that other airlines don't have to follow.
I can say here that Liat will succeed, notwithstanding the artificial impediments that these countries are creating. In fact, it's very unfortunate, an extremely unfortunate development in which, these impediments are being developed, notwithstanding the fact that Liat has valid flight approvals to fly into those countries. I mean, Liat is not a new carrier. Liat is a legacy carrier that has been servicing these countries for decades. And the irony is, there were no such requirements for other carriers. All of the other airlines that resumed services to those countries, they had no such requirements. So the question is, why are they discriminating against Liat? I mean, Liat is a regional institution. It is an institution within the OACS and the broader CARICOM region, and should be given national treatment, not to be treated as some stepchild, but at the same time to be embraced as a regional carrier. And if anything, should be given preference, not to be discriminated against.
He said the matter may well be put before the Caribbean Court of Justice, but he is hopeful that good sense will prevail and permission would be granted in the coming days.
If they were to seek to sustain this type of behavior, then clearly it will be a restraining of trade, and I presume that the administrator would want to consider maybe taking some form of action, maybe take them to the Caribbean Court of Justice in its original jurisdiction. So it is a position that cannot be sustained. I mean, even the MASA, the air service agreement, provides for these airlines to fly within the region. So I don't know who's informing this type of policy, but it's a policy that cannot be sustained. And all it is doing, it is just literally demonstrating some level of malevolence coming from certain individuals in those countries. I don't know exactly who is driving it, but I'm hoping that the leadership in those two countries will step up and address that issue before it actually deteriorates. Told, for example, that Liat has been asked to make prepayments for landing fees and so on. You can't make any such requirement at this point when you're not asking other carriers for prepayment. I can understand that they can say, look, okay, you get the usual 30-day credit just like any other carrier. But if you fail to pay on time and you end up with arrears, then there'll be sanctions. That I can deal with. And I do accept that there were arrears in the past, but we know that, Liat was not the best run organization, and clearly, it was on the verge of bankruptcy. It's going through a period of administration now in order to fix it and to ensure that we have a viable and sustainable Liat going forward.
Liat's court-appointed administrator, Cleveland Seaford, is also expressing surprise at the move from Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He said revenue will be affected as a result of the cancellations.
In the case of Barbados, it came as a surprise to us very late on Friday. We had made arrangements to fly into Barbados, and we actually flew there on Monday with a scheduled service. About 2 to 3 weeks before that, we flew in there. And after the borders were closed at the end of March, we actually flew nurses from Cuba to Barbados. And so we are a bit taken aback by the decision. We have a valid permit to fly into Barbados until July 2024. Okay? And the authorities said to us late on Friday that we would have to make new arrangements before we can fly into Barbados. We don't necessarily agree with them because we have the permit which allows us to fly in until July 2024. So we dispatched a letter to them late on Friday asking them to reconsider the decision.
Liat earlier announced that effective November 30th, it would resume flights to Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Health officials are engaged in in-depth contact tracing to assess the persons with whom 3 individuals identified as new confirmed coronavirus cases would have interacted. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws, Saturday, December 5th, confirmed that the Federation now has 5 active confirmed cases of coronavirus after the arrival of 3 international travelers here. A traveler from India arrived on November 20th, 2020, and 2 from the United States of America arrived on November 28th and November 29th, respectively. The individuals were duly notified, were in a stable condition, and were quarantined in isolation at COVID-19 certified hotels since arrival in the Federation, the CMO said. The Federation has recorded 25 confirmed COVID-19 cases with 20 fully recovered and no deaths from the virus. The 5 active cases are stable and being monitored by a consultant internal medicine specialist, Dr. Laws added. She assured that all frontline workers at the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw International Airport, SCASPA, and in the hotel and tourism sector are continuing to adhere to the COVID-19 protocols along the corridor of containment between the airports and hotel or accommodation sites. The CMO said that measures being taken to restrict the spread of the coronavirus include in-depth contact tracing in an effort to effectively assess the persons with whom the 3 cases would have interacted, with quarantine and monitoring of contacts as indicated. Citizens were urged to do all in their power to prevent the spread of COVID-19 by wearing a face mask when in public places, maintaining good hand hygiene, maintaining a physical distance of at least 6 feet from others when in public places, and avoiding crowds. Attorney General Vincent Byron reports that the Integrity in Public Life Commission is functional and properly funded. Integrity in Public Life legislation and enactment aims to establish a code of conduct and declaration of assets for public officials and to prevent abuse of office, misconduct, and neglect of duty. Public officials are expected to sign a copy of the code of conduct, and a copy of that agreement is to be lodged with the Integrity in Public Life Commission.
Integrity in Public Life Commission has been fully operational and is fully funded by a subvention from the Ministry of Finance, so that there is in charge the commission, a chairperson in the place of retired Justice Miss Pauletta Lance, and she is ably assisted by Mr. Freddie Knight and by Miss Buddy, who make up the commission. There is facilities housed at the Llewellyn building on Liverpool Road.
Public officials are expected to, within a time to be prescribed by order, to complete and file a declaration with the Commission of his or her income, assets, liabilities, and private interests. Each succeeding year, they are expected to file further declarations with the Commission. That order will be in place following further consultations with public servants, Mr. Byron declared in a response to a question from a reporter at the recent Prime Minister's press conference.
The law has been in place and has been operationalized. There has been a meeting with the members of the civil service last year. There is every intention that there be a follow-up meeting with members of the public service, and all those who will be required to submit a declaration of their assets to the Commission once a date has been set for that to happen. So the Commission is in place, it's fully operational, and there is now the need to establish a date for declarations to be submitted to the Commission.
The Federation's attempt to introduce integrity in public life legislation dates back to 2013. After a change in government in 2015, an Integrity and Public Life Commission was established in 2015. The chairman of that commission, Mr. Damien Kelsick, resigned in May 2019. A month later, in June 2019, retired Justice Pauletta Lance was appointed chairman. The other commissioners are consultant Mr. Freddie Knight and certified accountant Miss Carol Body. Government plans to offer a people-oriented national budget on December 15th, according to Financial Secretary Hilary Hazel.
Basically, for the budget, we remain to be positive in our outlook, as well as making sure that we spend the energy focusing on our people. As you have come to know, the budgets over the last 5 years have been very people-oriented, and so we would continue to keep that focus. Of course, we will continue to invest in areas that as we respond to the issues related to COVID-19. However, we have taken a decision that we would be tending towards looking forward and looking towards recovery and transformation, rather than looking backwards in terms of what we have gone through in 2020. And so, heavy focus would be placed on expenditures related to infrastructure development, to spur on the transformation process that we have started, and also to recover from the blows that we experienced in 2020.
St. Kitts and Nevis closed its borders for 8 months this year to protect the country from the outbreak of the novel coronavirus. Countries across the world instituted similar measures in the face of what has been described as the worst health crisis in a century. The coronavirus pandemic's economic impact has been unprecedented in scope and reach due to the globalized nature of the 21st century global economy, experts have reported.
National security would continue to be a focus. Our social safety net programs would be prioritized. We would also be looking towards strengthening our partnerships with our international partners, as well as strengthening the environment for spurring on entrepreneurship. As you would be realizing that the government has taken a determined decision to create a new ministry. And so we look forward to the exciting array of support that that ministry would put in place to support our creative and talented persons who would need assistance in terms of building that type of business.
Live from NPR News, I'm Corva Coleman. President-elect Joe Biden has announced the names of people he's seeking to nominate to his health team. That includes California Attorney General Javier Becerra as Health and Human Services Secretary. Dr. Vivek Murthy will be nominated for a second term as Surgeon General. The director of the National Institutes of Health, Dr. Francis Collins, hopes 2 COVID-19 vaccines will be approved for emergency use this month. He hopes some Americans will get their vaccines soon, but many people need to get the 2 injections before the pandemic is brought under control.
We really need to get to 80-90% before you could really say this virus is done, because that's what it takes to achieve the kind of so-called herd immunity. So that's a ways off. We can get started in December and January, but it's unlikely that we'll reach that level of immunization, even with everything that's being done, until the spring or even the early summer.
He spoke to NPR's Morning Edition. Most Californians are now under a stay-at-home health order that took effect late last night. From member station KPCC, Josie Huang reports state officials are trying to slow the spread of the pandemic.
The state is directing tens of millions of Californians to stay at home as much as possible and to not mix with other households. The 3-week-long order bans both indoor and outdoor dining at restaurants and shuts down a range of places, including hair salons and playgrounds. Retail stores can stay open, but at 20% capacity. State officials imposed the health orders on Southern California and the San Joaquin Valley after both regions saw their available ICU beds drop below 15%. Meanwhile, officials in the San Francisco Bay Area proactively adopted the state order, even though the region's ICU availability is not low enough to trigger the new restrictions. For NPR News, I'm Josie Huang in Los Angeles.
Hello, this is Julie Candler with the BBC News. The European Union's chief Brexit negotiator, Michel Barnier, is reported to have given a downbeat assessment of trade talks with Britain as discussions enter a crucial stage. Here's Rob Watson.
in many ways what's holding back a deal is exactly what's held it back since the moment Britain voted to leave the European Union. It's how do you reconcile a Brexit, which is a desire to take back sovereignty for Britain to make its own rules and regulations differently to the European Union, but without disrupting its trading and security and every other relationship with the European Union. How do you square that circle? And from the European Union's point of view, a political question, which is we think the Brits have been crazy voting for Brexit and that they can't have as good or a better deal outside the EU, but they also don't want to completely damage their own economies. So it's that dynamic that's been there since the start.
Germany, Britain and France say they are alarmed by the Iranian announcement that it intends to install more advanced uranium-enriching centrifuges. The three powers, who are party to the 2015 nuclear containment deal with Iran, say that a new law barring UN inspections of its nuclear sites was also incompatible with the accord and Iran's wider non-proliferation commitments. Officials in the Indian state of Andhra Pradesh say more than 400 people have now needed hospital treatment and one man has died because of an unidentified illness. Residents in the town of Eluru reported a range of symptoms in the last 2 days. Here's our South Asia editor, Jill McGivering.
So far, the authorities seem baffled, but whatever the cause, the number of people being rushed to local hospitals has continued to rise. Some report fits similar to epilepsy, even a loss of consciousness. Others report vomiting or frothing at the mouth. Nearly 50 children are affected, although most patients are aged between 20 and 40. Initial tests of air and water and blood samples haven't revealed any possible cause. All the patients tested negative for the coronavirus.
The only female councillor in a Japanese town has been thrown out of office in a special vote after she accused the mayor of sexually assaulting her. It's rare for victims of sexual assault in Japan to report their crimes. This report from Michael Bristow.
Shoko Arai was voted out by residents in the small town of Kusatsu after being accused of undermining the council's dignity. It was the culmination of a campaign to get rid of Ms Arai following her claims against the mayor. Last year, councillors expelled her from the Assembly, but that decision was overturned. She condemned this latest outcome as unjust. The mayor, who denies the allegations against him, said it had been a decisive victory. Some worry this vote will encourage victims of sexual assault in Japan to stay silent.
World news from the BBC. Indonesia says it's examining the first consignment of a Chinese coronavirus vaccine that arrived on Sunday ahead of distribution to medical workers and high-risk groups. The country with the worst outbreak in Southeast Asia has received 1.2 million doses of the Sinovac jab, which has been undergoing tests since late August. The Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro has regained control of the National Assembly after his party and his allies secured victory in legislative elections. Turnout was just 31%, with most opposition parties boycotting the vote. Katie Watson reports from Caracas.
While the government's now in control of the National Assembly, the low turnout was hardly a win. On the streets of Venezuela, there's an atmosphere of resignation. Most Venezuelans saw little point in these elections, whose legitimacy has been questioned both at home and abroad. The long queues at petrol stations, rather than the polling stations, say a lot about the state of politics here. For Venezuelans, the most important thing is survival, and many feel neither the government nor the opposition can help make things better on that front.
The European Union's foreign ministers have agreed to adopt legislation similar to the Magnitsky Act in the United States that allows the imposition of sanctions on human rights abusers anywhere in the world. It would make it possible to impose travel bans or asset freezes on those guilty of human rights violations independently of where the crimes were committed. The publishing rights to Bob Dylan's entire back catalogue of music have been acquired by Universal Music Group in what's thought to be one of the largest such deals in history. It's reportedly worth hundreds of millions of dollars and encompasses 600 songs spanning 6 decades, including hits such as Blowing in the Wind and The Times They Are A-Changin'. The ownership of song rights has increased in value because of the popularity of online music streaming. BBC News.
That was the Win FM headline news, brought to you by KDP Enterprises, Caribbean Alliance, Carib Brewery, CNC Trading, The Grange.
Tis the season to save with Delayed Woman and Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Purchasing a new car this Christmas? Save up to 65% off. Yes, that's 65% off your motor insurance premiums. Switch and save up to an additional 30% discount on your premiums. Visit us at Liverpool Road, Bastille St. Kitts or Hunkins Drive, Nevis. Call 465-2631 or 469-5303. Promotion ends December 31st. Quotations valid until January 15th. Terms and conditions apply. 'Tis the season to save up to 65% off.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Without limits, happy and free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. With LLB. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime, and bitters. Live, love, be.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
It's 29 minutes up to the 1 o'clock hour. We're in the second half of Voices. My name is Socrates, the host of today's program. I want to welcome our listeners back to the program. And for those who are still at lunch, hope you're having a wonderful lunch. Mm-hmm. I had me a little bit earlier, so I'm a bit full. But yes, it's been a very wonderful morning. And we had a few callers. We had Mr. Ranger calling and told me I was talking too much over the guest speaker, who happens to be the director of Alliance Francaise Mamuku. And we're speaking about a collaboration across Caribbean, collaboration of cultures, linking from St. Kitts to Guadeloupe, to Martinique, to Dominica, our carnivals, the custom traditions, and how we do things. And we're going to have that dialogue, that conversation that help us to better identify and, our various practices and traditions. We know the ultimate origin, but of course, language is a part. Culture and music is a universal language that we need to, give a listen to. And so we're going to continue in that vein of conversation, sharing information as to what the platform is, how can you get in touch, how can you log on, how you can contribute and make a difference to what we're trying to create in the region. And we go live and direct to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to Voices. Hello there, welcome to Voices.
Hi, the King, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Africa, you're back. Speak to us.
Just before the lunch break, your guest, good afternoon guest.
Good afternoon.
She mentioned about the folkloric aspect, the folklore troupe.
Yes.
And the likes, and something caught my attention. We know that we do have folklore troops here in St. Kitts and Nevis and elsewhere within the region. And the masquerade would have dominated because of the various troops. I just spoke of troops and Brazilian troops and the like.
Yes.
But yes, masquerade, whereas there has been concerted efforts to resuscitate or re-energize other troops like the clown troops and the like. Not quite sure. I'm still working on the origin of the clown. The colorful costume might be an interwoven of African garbs and European mixture.
Mm-hmm.
But be that as it may, there are different colors in different troops also. We are more familiar with the masquerade.
Yes.
But what I want to touch on is the bull. And I'm going to get back to the bull. But let me delve a little bit into the masquerade and my take on it. Recently, about a year or two ago, God bless his soul, the guy, Chadwick Boseman, he passed, who acted as the Panther in the movie The Black Panther.
Yes.
And there was this guy of the same family lineage, probably two brother children, who actually ended up in the diaspora in the U.S., Eric Killmonger. Because he went to the British Museum here and he inquired about certain masks, and he had that conversation with the curator as to what was the origin of certain masks. It seems that if he went back to that museum and whatever, took the mask, stole the mask, what have you, but he put it on. Had it wasn't fitting for him, he would have never wear that mask. That's the masquerade. Okay? We just see things on the surface here, but they have deeper meanings. I will not delve into the bull by saying, yes, variants of the bull have survived. And bear that in mind. Everything has a common origin. The bull now, we are more familiar with the bull in our folklore, but it has survived amongst the Spanish culture. Are we familiar with an allegory or a story of Ferdinand the Bull?
Yep.
Ferdinand the Bull, ferocious and entertaining, but not a custom entertainment. Ferdinand the Bull, it's masculinity. To protect and to serve and what have you as a masculine person would do. Got stung by a bee and lost its masculinity, its interest in anything else. Ferdinand the Bull. Very common story amongst the Spanish culture. But it has its origin, it has its story. Now, today, we have heard, it permeates because it went all the way into cosmology, where we have Taurus the Bull as a constellation. And into different mythology, you would find that old story that survived with us in our simple folklore truth today. Now, animals are totems, for your awareness. Animals are totems. And in the Christian faith, we have known about scripture, biblical references that would talk about the Lion of Judah and the different tribes and what animals were attributed to them. So animals are totems. And we are on a journey, and we may not discover it, but animals are totems. Trees, fauna and flora also have their own rights within. But I just wanted to just deal with that whole story as it relates Horus the bull, the constellation, Ferdinand the bull, the story. But the significance of the song of that beat, the bull has lost all interest. Sounds familiar? You can
Yes.
relate to that story. You have lost all interest in what life is supposed to be. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, when we had the conversation with the president of the organization Tradition and Research is in Martinique, and she will be part of the conversation on the 16th of December, she was mentioning the diable, the devil, that is a character
Diablo.
that they have in their carnival, but it might have roots much more much older from African animist culture, and that would have been interpreted as the devil for Christian interpretations.
Okay.
Much
We
more.
have the jab in Trinidad. That sort of represents the devil with the fork, and they're drinking of, it's supposed to be blood and blah, 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 blah. But these are, as we say, representation of certain aspects of our culture, some mask, some not. So the reference to Ferdinand the Bull and what we have here, the story changes somewhat across the various platforms, but their origins. Example, the mock jumbie. Some say mock a jumbie, some say mock jumbie. It's like you're mocking to be. The story as I know it originates in Africa, but there's a similarity to the Feast of the Passover, where the angel of death were told to spare the houses that had that sign, that blood on the lintel of the door. So when the angel of death came through to destroy whatever, once you had the sign on the lintel of your door, it will pass over. The Feast of the Passover. In Africa, that tradition is represented by the quote-unquote witch doctor, the high priest, who would, on stilts, walk through the village on stilts, so that's a height, and he would bless the homes or not. So you have that similarity of what was accepted, the angel of death passing through. In Africa, you have the witch doctor or the high priest walking through on stilts and blessing a house or not. And that is the origin of the mock jumbie, as it was related to me. So, origins, interpretations, how they can differ from, like we call calypso in Cuba is Quelbe. But the origins are the same. So the story of the bull on the plantation that, I know of a story that was originated in Sandy Point of two young ladies who were going to a hand time, and they knocked down what was called a garland. It was we see them across ponds, Camps Road there, the white birds, egrets.
Les aigrettes.
They caught the egret and ate it with potato. And that was a big thing in the folklore, where you had what you call sagwe, where the men would come around and would take plays, storylines, and created street theaters. So if you did something that was infamous and you didn't want anybody to know, they would find out and they would create a play around that incident. So I know for a fact these two ladies, what happened to them, they're going to a hard time, and then what we call knock down the garland, and then that was a meal. That was a big thing. Everybody came out when the sagwe and the bad cook would come around and take stories, common stories that happened throughout the year, and created a play in the street. So the origins of the bull story and the plantation, and Pension would know more about that. It's said to have originated here in St. Kitts. The connection with Ferdinand the Bull would not have, but then their storylines. So who knows? So this platform, the cross-cultural collaboration, where we can exchange and explain and better understand the different practices in terms of what we celebrate for Carnival, is very, very important, educational.
Mm-hmm.
And we speak to the need of re-educating ourselves. So this is what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
Ranger, I'm going to hush now. No, he's not there. That's because you say talk too much. I'm going to hush and let the young lady continue. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to have a name for the radio program to be the MC of the radio program.
Not a
from now
problem.
on.
Not a problem.
Yes, so yeah, the whole point of this dialogue is to see what are the cultural differences and also point in common. So explore different point in commons, practices in common, but also differences, considering that differences is not something bad, it is good, and we have to learn about it.
Yes.
So yes, that's all about it. We have to have this conversation of exploring different forms. Mostly, Guadeloupe and Martinique are our neighbors, and they might not know much about St. Kitts and Nevis, and vice versa.
Vice versa.
So that's about this bridge. We're gonna create that bridge, which is about culture and which about an activity which is common to all of these people. People who are practicing the carnival or people who are just looking at the carnival.
Okay, Brenda's saying good history, and of course she's celebrating her birthday today. We want to wish our esteemed Prime Minister belated birthday greetings. You know, he born in December. His name is also Sylvester, so ha 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 ha. Celebrated his birthday yesterday, and also his constituents and others were congratulating him on his 27 years as a parliamentary service. So he has a double whammy yesterday. Prime Minister, happy belated birthday greeting. If anyone wishes to call and speak about that, say congratulations about the milestone he has created. He's been 27 years as a parliamentarian. You're free to do so. The lines are open. The numbers to call are 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. And then from the overseas lines, we go to 718-265-6948, 508-921-4619. From the UK, we have 0333-044-0065. You can join the conversation, make your contribution on this particular topic or any issue that you wish to raise and expand on. So the lines are open, free to call, and hush again.
We have been organizing this. So we're organizing every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
From 5:30 to 7 p.m. You can look at the Cross-Cultural Carnival Dialogue on Facebook, which will be streamed live in English for English speakers, in French on the Carib Horizon YouTube. You can have all of this information on our Facebook page. If you're a member of the Alliance Française, you should have an email already in your mailbox, in your box. And if you want more information, follow us on Facebook, Alliance Française de St. Kitts and Nevis. You can also call us at 465-9415 or 667-9019. And we have to thank our sponsors who have been helping us to make it possible, Corporate Solution Limited, as well as the Embassy of France to the OECS and Barbados.
Can't do it without sponsors. You mentioned one of your programs will be speaking to somebody from culture, speaking about the bowls or whatever. What is that?
That's the traditional section. So that's traditional troops. That's the 16th of December.
Okay.
So to do a resume, we'll have on the 2nd of December was the official.
Okay, we're gonna go to the phone lines. Caller, you'll have voices.
Hi, good afternoon, Socrates.
You wait so long, man. You know, can't do meeting without you.
I was asleep. I never wake up early. Make it up.
Welcome to the program, Lady Sylvine.
You're talking about Sagwa.
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 Mm-hmm.
Sagwa is the correct pronunciation.
Sagwa, yeah.
Sagwa. Sagwa.
I'm bad coconut. You know, I can't talk. You know, just give me a big. Yes, Sagwa.
And I grew up seeing a lot of these, in the village.
Mm-hmm.
The village was quite a cultural center,
Did anybody ever play you?
Man, I would have been too small for that.
Okay.
You know, and they used to come out, the Sagwa used to come out on Christmas morning.
Mm-hmm.
They have their face black up.
Blackened faces and the
And,
bad
top
cook.
hat and scissors.
Let me describe it for the people who don't remember or who don't know. Let me let you take the mic and describe it for us, please.
I mean, Sagwas?
Yes,
Well,
and
usually sugar
those
workers,
traditions.
because, I mean, you know, the village is near to Buckley's Camp, Shadwell, and West Palm Estate. So I have a whole section in my written book. What they would do, they would take whether ashes, coals, and blacken their faces.
Mm-hmm.
And they would make the top hats were made out of cardboard, eh?
Yes, the English local top hats, yeah.
Right, and they have on the
Tails.
tail coats too.
Mm-hmm.
And they would go from house to house, a yard to yard, if you want to call it
Correct.
so. And they would rap. We don't call it rap now, eh? They would rhyme.
We had only rappers.
Yeah, man. We now call it rap, but it's rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have a story and they would rhyme it. Like, you know, I saw Socrates jump over the fence and something. So that was done. It was usually done in the morning. I think they came out again on Boxing Day, which was the day after Christmas Day.
Yes.
Then you had, in the village, you also had nigger business, which was really Cooley who had come from Irish Town. You know Cooley?
I know Cooley, yes. He was in his latter years a watchman at one of the high schools.
Joseph Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He had moved to Headsmith Village in a Pampalam house, a house opposite where I was born and raised. It had a number of rooms to rent. So he brought the nigger business there.
What's a Pampalam house?
That was what they call street acting or street...
Street theater.
Huh?
I call it street theater.
Right, that's a modern thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be very embarrassing, though, you know. And
I know.
They would have their women clothes.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, if a female was involved in the play.
And they were pantomime.
Yes. They play, I mean, they had, if you beat a woman, they would have your story there.
And the woman crying, Lord, hit me there! Lord, hit me there!
And then they would have what they call books. Just a piece of cardboard for
hit you in the head with a book.
Yes. And then they would start with the introduction, put on the play, of course, which usually most people knew.
Mm-hmm.
As people business.
Nigger business.
Nigger mean people.
Yeah.
Nigger mean ordinary people. Of course, they acted out stories about the estate managers too.
Correct.
But there was quite a bit of pushback, you know. The laws and so were even formed against them.
How so?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
And if you go way back to 1946, the police had to get permission from the police to put on the play. And they had to present a script of what they were going to say because
censorship.
A number of prominent people felt they were being embarrassed.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to get permission, you know. They couldn't just go on the road and...
I didn't know that.
They used to go on the road first and then the police was involved. They could stop the play.
Mm-hmm. According to who was being portrayed or exposed.
Yes. Well, of course, you know, as they went along the road, they made up stories. So even if they had submitted some, they had a whole repertoire.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun and very funny.
Those are my memories.
Our street actors, and some of them, as I said, could over-dramatize.
Yes. Sadly.
Men dressed as women with the wig and the dress and the shoes.
Sadly, those aspects of it used to be the Christmas sports, as we then call them, are no longer with us.
it was a lot of fun. There was something else. You had the people who serenade.
Mm-hmm. And we'd
I
have
think they- I
cake
think
and
they-
sorrel to share with them as we come around to each person.
Let me
Yard.
share what you had.
See what you had.
Rum and whatnot, rum and cake.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of rum was in it, eh? Because sometimes before they reach halfway, they're drunk.
They're drunk.
Before people gave them what they had. You know, even those who used to go serenading.
Mm-hmm. Early mornings.
Ordinary people
That is true.
singing Christmas songs. They even sang hymns.
Mm-hmm.
So there was quite a lot of serenading in the village. And Sagwa, and a lot of the villagers took part in like clown and you say Makajambi?
Yes.
Right, there was one gentleman who was quite a very good Makajambi dancer. And the uniforms are much more elegant. They wore pantaloons, if you want to call them so, right?
Pantaloons.
Huh?
Pantaloons. The big knickerbockers.
Right. It went down over the knee.
Yeah.
It was usually a white one.
White knickerbockers, cotton knickerbockers.
frills
With
and
the
lace.
laces, yes.
Yes. Over which they wore a skirt. And of course they had on the shirt.
We have a young engineer on the board here wondering what in heaven's name are they talking about?
Makajambi.
Yeah.
Makajambi. And they used to have a dancing.
Mm-hmm.
They have specific dances they did. You know, but nobody ever said, well, Africa or whatever.
Somebody's...
No matter what they did from my research, you know, there was the, like in terms of the French,
Yeah, well.
the actors is actually taken from the French.
Well, let Maureen speak. Speak to Maureen because she may not know that.
She don't know that.
Well, we'll
You
find
didn't
out
tell
now.
her?
We'll find out now. Go ahead.
I knew.
You didn't know?
She said she knew.
Yeah, that is why you find actors in St. Peter's.
Mm-hmm. But I never got the
Because
chance to see
the
them.
French governor lived there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
The
what
linkage.
happened, the slaves imitated what they saw at the governor's house.
Mm.
So the actoring and so, that is the slaves' copy, if you want to call it.
Okay, but I link the acting to those guys with the fork and the acrobatics. That's my image of them performing, jumping over the fork and stuff like that. So that was the acting. I didn't link it towards them mimicking the planters in that regard, as we see in other countries where, well, not only in song, but the nigger business where you speak about you act out what happened on the plantations. This was different in the terms of the performances. Breaking stones on the chest, jumping over the fork. That is how I saw the acting. But according to Elder Sylvian, it came from the St. Peter's area because of the governor's, our Governor Poincy, and acting what they saw. We may have lost a caller, another caller on the line. Caller, you're live on Voices. Go ahead. Good day, caller, you're live on Voices.
Hello, pleasant good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, sir. How are you?
Yeah, this the awesome navigator.
I recognize the voice, sir.
Yes, sir. I was listening to you earlier when you was alluding to the Mokajambi thing.
Yes, sir.
And I somewhat managed the Mokajambi from about maybe 95 to about maybe up to 2005 when I got injured.
Okay.
And one time a little cousin of mine came home from school and they was doing some homework. And the homework was to source some of these
origins
of where these sports might have came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran into an article that says that the Mokajambi itself, this stilt walking,
yes,
it could have been around maybe longer than even slavery time, because there's this particular place in West Africa called Dahomey. And, you know, those areas are always, you know, plagued with the monsoon season. And you know what the monsoon season is.
Rain,
you know, it's a rainy season for quite some time. And when I started reading down to the article, I found that during the monsoon season, the people used to flee to the higher grounds. Sometimes a few positions might have left behind, and that was the only way to reach them, to come back and
on stilts?
elevate themselves on sticks.
Okay.
Yes, and it somewhat find its way into our culture during the slave trade, because after, you know, you work all week, or you work all month, or you work all year, you have to find a way to entertain the masters, and if anybody else sailing coming to your plantation or your establishment. And there was this local notion that the Moko Jumbi used to roam. The Jumbi itself, when our spirit died, it roamed the heart of the Maka tree. And in order for you to communicate with your family, your loved ones who had passed on, you have to elevate yourself on the stick also. Just like reaching your house that somewhat floating above the water, you know. So, and you're so correct. The part with the local practitioners and
the witch doctors, they call them. Yeah.
And witch doctors. That was linked to it also too.
Was a cultural ceremony.
Yeah.
Was part of a cultural ceremony.
Yes. Yes. And in order for them to communicate with the passed on spirit who used to roam the heart of the Maka tree, and everybody in Sinkit should know what a Maka tree is.
Yep.
You know, you have to elevate yourself on the stilts and communicate with the Jumbi in the Maka tree. And that's how we get the name Maka Jumbi, and it find its way into our culture. And we have it here today. And we really appreciate it because it has been doing justice throughout the years, you know,
yes,
to entertain
they have.
us and people who come into our shows. And, yeah, we are grateful for these kind of culture talks, you know, because
collaborations.
There's always something to learn, you know. So I must thank you so much for bringing this topic today.
Well, thank the director of Orléans France, because she's the one who have actually spearheaded the initiative. And I'm just offering a platform to further market it, because we need to know more about this and get engaged. There's much of the culture that survived the Middle Passage. So when you say slave tradition, not really a slave tradition. There are traditions from West Africa, and you mentioned the homie that survived, got to Trinidad, the vehicle that passed them on. Keep up the traditions, and as Elder Sylvia was speaking about things that we enjoyed as children that are no longer here. So this program is about helping to bring out as much of this conversation. Like your call is a major contribution to this.
Right. I didn't even
and I
know
hope before we end, she's gonna give the information again so we can log on. Please make sure you record it, okay?
Okay, and
Continue.
one last thing. I didn't even know back in Dahomey, after they round up certain people from different parts of Africa, that there was this gateway that they used to ship them off to the different islands they may be going to. And there's this establishment they used to call the Gate of No Return. Because when you go through that gate as a slave, there's no coming back to Africa.
Understood.
Okay, that's my contribution.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on an awesome performance. Marine would have watched you from at home last Saturday night. I was very much with your performance. And you have to say?
Yes.
Thank you so very much, sir.
She's going to congratulate you also.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. So I should give the Zoom ID so you can be able to log on.
Well, give him a minute to get his pen, because we have to reach for a pen. But we'll give it again. We have the next half an hour before we leave. We're going to break in about 5 minutes for station ID. But in the meantime, we can take more calls if we can. The numbers to call once again are 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. For the overseas line, we have 718-265-6948. Ranger, where's your contribution? He said he don't want me to talk too much, so anyway. 508-921-4619 and 0333-044-065. We have another caller direct online. You're live on Voices. Welcome to the program.
I am back.
Yes, how you got call?
Now, some of the masquerade dances, they said, you know, the waltz and the whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They said a lot of them were also copied from the French court.
From the French court?
Yes, because, you know, they used to have a lot of balls, if you want to call it balls.
Yes. Yes, I can see the linkage with the waltz, the dance, you know.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Well,
by the way, there's this book written by Kathleen Manchester.
From
St. Kitts.
Where in St. Kitts?
Thomas Manchester. It is accessible in
Say
the
Sandy Point,
library
man.
and the museum and maybe
Say Sandy
the
Point.
archives. He gave a whole list of these things we're talking about.
Say Sandy Point.
Yeah, I think it is called the historical something of St. Kitts.
Okay.
You will find all of this information in there about the history of it.
Kathleen Manchester.
Kathleen, Kathleen, Kathleen Manchester.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you should go and access it. It's quite
These are at the museum?
I think the museum, the public library, the archives, for sure.
And the name once again?
It's historical something, I don't remember.
Historical something, okay, I'll write that
But once you know, she wrote that book. I don't know if she from Sandy Point.
That's what tell you just said she from Sandy Point.
I don't know if she's old enough or what. She's to be around Edgar Challenger.
Yes, they are family.
Right, the same kind of complexion.
Mm-hmm.
She was an educator, and she did this book, talk about the clubs in St. Kitts, the culture, you know, some of the dances they did, and even this, the actors and the stone-breaking story.
Yes.
Mr. D'Souza, Wenty D'Souza.
Wenty D'Souza.
Yeah, Wenty. You about Wenty D'Souza?
I'm not
He's
sure.
the father of Mr. D'Souza for Step.
Okay.
He was what you call the milkman. You remember it?
Yes.
Well, Wenty D'Souza.
Okay.
He's the one who had the troop with jumping over the fork and breaking stone on his chest. All sort of stuff like that. Okay. All of that, they said, is of French origin.
Well, the Roaring Lion in Trinidad is on record as saying that Calypso came from France. Well,
anybody could say anything, you know.
I challenge him on that.
Well,
big time.
Maybe then, you know, the Carnival and the Juve was around a Catholic holiday, you know.
I know.
And the French were in Trinidad.
Well, they changed it to be around the Catholic holiday. It should be around August 1st. But the Catholics has changed it.
To Lent.
Yes.
It ends when the beginning of Lent.
Correct.
Well,
well,
so
originally,
all of those things are there. But St. Kitts has a lot of...
I'm going to look up this book by Manchester.
Yeah, because you get further along, you know, because it would have been written about, should be talking about the early days of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was all kind of sagwa, I can't remember the other one, up at the village.
What about Bad Cook?
But Bad Cook was one of the characters
in
the nigger business.
Uh-huh.
And they would also play school children.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yes, I recall that.
Right. It
School
was
children
also
say.
played by the same set of people who play nigger business.
School children say. Yeah.
So Cooley had school children. You have Bad Cook. Bad Cook is part of the school children thing. He would give the most ridiculous answers to questions.
Uh-huh.
You know, it was quite exciting. String band, don't talk about string band.
I want to recommend that Quite in Pension and yourself be part of the conversation.
But I say, if you get the book,
mm-hmm. I'm going to look for it. I took the name of the author.
I saw in the village, what I saw, what I interviewed some of the older people.
Yes.
A couple example. I learned from my aunt. This thing with the drumming and so. They dance with sticks. The big drum?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is way back in the 30s. Somebody would have the drum and everybody would have a piece of stick over their shoulder.
The mummies.
No, they were not called mummies. Mummies is a play.
Later on, with those were the sticks. There's big sticks using as swords. You know.
Yeah, but
they came on later on.
Mummies. These were just the young people and the children. It's like how you have Juve, right?
Yeah.
They would leave the village with a drum and go into town. And it was a walking up thing story.
Okay.
And you should see the extent to which the authorities went to try to stamp out the traditional culture.
Okay.
That laws and so passed, Because they called it vulgar. It was vulgar, crude.
Yep.
And uncivilized. Because a lot of you saw a lot of work-up competition. That's another thing. Yeah, man, in the village, on my street, all the women with the big bottom. Very versatile,
Yes.
They're doing the Jamaican thing, they're late.
They're late.
About doing butterfly and all kind of stories.
They're late.
I mean, really, they're late. Some of them copy it.
Back in your day. Back in your day, it wasn't easy.
No, I was a child. Big women, and there was no shame in it,
I know.
Once you had a nice big
Around that time of the year, the ladies came out. No matter how socially they were, they came out and you respected it. We grew up watching it.
Yeah, remember,
Miss Green,
it was a working class community,
The former...
people down in Fort Lands did not come out to anything, so please. They entertained the masquerades, the macajumbies, and that sort of things. But they never participated. They were spectators.
Yes. They threw the pennies and the hats on the ground for the dancers, but the people were the ones who actually...
They gave them in the hand color thing, But I know crossed by Sebastian, and you remember the Judenberg?
Yes.
Right where the cable is.
I know.
That is where the middle class and the upper class blacks gathered on Boxing Day.
And from the balconies, they were throwing their pennies.
So the pennies are whatever they threw, And the rest of us went to look on. But there was a lot of cultural activity. Masquerades, clowns.
The mummies.
And even the clowns, they say.
Giant Despair. We used to call them Giant Despair.
Yeah, those usually came from the country.
Cowboy in England. Cowboy in...
Clowns and so too. Clowns, I say, is of French origin. You never heard of one island?
I'm going to test Maureen and that. Friends, speak
but
up, speak up.
As I say, check the book.
Okay.
Because sometimes what you hear is not what is so.
That is true. I made note of it.
Research.
I made note of it.
Manchester?
Yes.
So she might be a little more reliable.
Okay. Do appreciate that. Thank you very much. We're going to pause for a word from our very kind sponsors who make this program possible. When we get back, we get into more discussion detail on this particular issue.
Found the Sound 98.9 FM.
Paint it, tile it, improve it. Your walls, paint it. Your floors, tile it. Your home, improve it. Huge savings at the Hosford's Building Center. Paint it, tile it, improve it. Sales event happening now. Yes. Come to Hosford's Building Center now and get savings of 25% off all paint and up to 75% off all tiles. Yes. Nothing's are gonna keep at Hosford's with up to 75% off piles of tiles in all styles and 25% off all paint. Come now and get a chance to win $500 shopping spree at Value Mart with the purchase of 5 gallons of paint or more. That's right. Buy 5 gallons or more of paint and you get a chance to win $500 in free groceries starting now until December 31st, 2020. It's your home, so paint it, tile tile it, improve it at Hawksworth Building and Nevis Center's year-end Paint It, Tile It, Improve It sale. Come now, save big and simply paint it, tile it, and improve it. The event starts now and ends December 31st, 2020. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
If I can make one wish come true, it's to spend Christmas with.
And Flow brings us all closer together with special Christmas offers for you, like free installation of high-speed internet for your home when you sign up. On the go, top up $35 and enjoy 2 gigabytes bonus data. Plus, enjoy great handset savings to share every special moment. Flow connects you to all you want for Christmas. Conditions apply.
Hey, welcome back to the program. Today we're discussing cross-Caribbean cultural collaboration with the director of Alliance Francaise, Marine. And we had some very interesting contribution. We had the awesome navigator who spoke about his experience with the Makajumbis as a manager and the story of the origins of the dancers. We had, of course, the invaluable contribution by Elder Sylvain Henry that spoke about the many aspects of the culture, the dances that she would have witnessed, making, of course, quite a contribution. And there's a reference to a book by Kathleen Manchester out of Chalice Sandy Point. Historical, whatever she called it. Well, I'm going to go to the museum, find that book, and see how I can better, inform myself. But, yes, we have just about 15, 16 minutes to go to speak more to this platform that has been initiated by the director of the Alliance Francaise in an effort to get more of a fusion of the cultures, the tradition, to a place where we can have cross-country dialogue. And I have a reminder. I just logged back on. Good afternoon to Amber Louise Hodge in Anguilla. I understand you have 2 or 3 more cases of COVID-19. Please call me and let me know what exactly is the story, right? Brenda's listening, so is Lily Jones and all of the folks. So let us know what's going on in Anguilla with the increasing cases and how the fallout is affecting you out there. So back to you, Madam Director of Culture, Alliance Francaise.
Yes.
The mic is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for these exchanges. This is really the point of this dialogue is to able to showcase what is the culture in St. Kitts and Nevis to our neighbors, Guadeloupe and Martinique. That was the mission at first. Then after the entire process of revitalizing what are the practices, it's great. I mean, when we are speaking about exchanges, we speak about our own identity. So through that process, if that can foster, the identity and the practices that can be revived,
yep,
it would be even better. The dialogue would be every Wednesday from 5:30 to 7 p.m. local time, so St. Kitts and Nevis time.
Every Wednesday, 5:30 to
7 p.m.
Okay. And if you want to share the linkages once again.
Okay.
So Navigator, I hope you have pen and paper ready. And for the other folks who want to follow on, I know the range is down in the circus. He may put it in his phone, but let's see. Just share the information for them once more, please.
So the Zoom meeting ID is 811-6869-3310, and the password is 954387. So I repeat, 811-6869-3310, and the password would be 954387. You can check on the Facebook page of the Alliance Francaise. We would put the link, so you would just have to click on it. And you can also look at the live stream, which will be on our Facebook page, which is another option as well if Zoom is giving you some trouble.
Okay.
And on Zoom, you have interpret services. So it means that, well, next Wednesday, all of the participants will be speaking in English. So for the English speakers, there won't be a problem. And for those who want to listen to it in French, or for the next sessions, when we will have different people coming from different islands with different languages, you will have to get to the option on Zoom to have English interpreters. And we have interpreters, professional interpreters, who are here to help you. So you might see a man speaking with the voice of a woman. Don't be too surprised, but there would be the voiceover.
Called voiceover.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from the general public, are there any particular group or person that you are specifically targeting?
Well, any person who is involved in culture, any person who is already either speaking French or either learning French, so all of our students in high school who are learning French, that can be an opportunity for you to see a bit more about the culture in Guadeloupe and Martinique. They speak French, but they are Caribbean. So there is the entire Caribbean culture with the French language that you are learning. So it can be a great, opportunity for you to see how, a good skill it can be to be able to communicate and to exchange with these territories. Those who are working in tourism, those who are working in culture, anybody who is interested in these forms of dialogue, those who are working in music, artists, people who would be travelers.
You see Calypsonians wanted to join into this?
Exactly. All the Calypsonians for next Wednesday. All of the musicians of the Calypso as well.
I think Azim Bailey would be a person who may have an interest in this.
Mm-hmm.
Azim Bailey is a producer. He's the engineer that produced the live stream. He has a program here, I think Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's called something like Tea.
Island Tea.
Island Tea. See, been informed. Have you spoken with them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Stopping me. yes. But I'm just thinking of the top of my head person who would have a vested interest in something like this.
Yes, anyone who would be interested in you can always come, check and have a look at it. If you just want to view it, you view it on Facebook, live stream, if you want to be part of it. And because something that I didn't mention as yet, and that can be an interest for those who want to be joining as participant on Zoom, is that we have 1 hour of discussions from the participant and then 30 minutes of questions and answers, so people can ask questions.
Let's take this caller and hear the contribution. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Yes. Socrates, me again.
Yes, welcome back.
Yeah, I want to ask the lady.
Marine.
Now, yes, I recall speaking with Mr. Challenger, Edgar Challenger.
Yes.
Was a historian who told me that he had gone down to I don't know if it's Guadeloupe or Martinique. He said to access historical documents about St. Kitts. I was wondering what role could Alliance Française play in getting us copies, when I say us, I mean maybe our
archives,
archives, and have it translated?
We can have the translation role.
Huh?
Yeah, we can do the translations.
Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever been approached?
We spoke about a project on history a few weeks ago on that program, I think. And I think we had a conversation on that topic also. This is also one big project we have for next year, to work on history and to be working on reviving some archives that we might have in Martinique and Guadeloupe, but also in the French archives.
And another thing, I noticed you all leaving out Nevis out of the conversation. The French over there,
Yes,
you go all the way back. The slaves actually fought with the French against the English.
Yes, yes. So, well, it includes St. Kitts and Nevis, of course.
Yeah, but you keep saying St. Kitts. Remember, it's two different islands,
Yes, yeah, I apologize.
And when you keep the conversation St. Kitts, it becomes St. Kitts.
Yes, but yeah. Yeah, St. Kitts and Nevis. Well, the history might be much...
Yeah, because maybe Nevisians get the impression that they're not part of it.
Well,
Socrates.
I might be wrong, but,
yeah, but
the
Socrates
French...
will be able to help you along that line, because he now keeps saying St. Kitts. Because a lot of the culture sometimes, Nevisians brought a lot of it.
I was going to ask you about the 9 bulls that came down from Nevis.
Boy, that's a joke.
9 bulls came down from Nevis, so talk to us about
when they came, you know.
Uh-huh.
My mother, I never know my mother to be afraid of bulls, you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
But what happened, a lot of them used to stay by their relatives in the village or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And in the old time days, whenever any kind of cultural sports, they would play at the hospital, which was at Cunningham Street. Then they would go down to the Cardin home, which is just on St. Johnston Avenue. And then they go down to the children's home to play.
Yep.
So villagers always got the first when they're fresh. And darling, you know, when you had civil bull, you could outrun one bull. When you have 9 bulls, there's no hiding place. I remember they were playing on our street. I never knew my mother was afraid of bulls until that day. My mother went for her machete.
Her machete?
Came by the gate.
Uh-huh.
Look, these division bulls were quite agile, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They could have climbed fence, climb gate, run to your house. My mother.
9 bulls came down one time.
My mother stood up by the gate.
Your machete?
You're bad coming in here this time. Maybe hiding, you know. But it was quite something.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Look, they created pandemonium in town.
Mm-hmm. 9 bulls.
They were energetic. They could run long too, you know. And it's 9 of them with some sharp horns. That was something. That was something to see.
Speak to us some more about the contribution, the troops, the string bands and such that came down from Nevis, please.
Well, the string bands came as part of the masquerade troupe, and I remember they had to play the music.
Mm-hmm.
And in those days, a lot of the masquerade used to stay in the village because there was a man named Mr. Archibald. They commanded us, you know, everybody to catch floor. They would sleep in the village.
Mm-hmm.
And the dances, well, you know, they could dance better than Kittitians. Kittitians may not want to hear that. Not to mention the 5 players. When you want to hear a 5 player,
a good 5. A good 5.
Divisions had the art.
Mm-hmm.
One of my mother relatives, my mother was a Freeman, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That was about David Freeman.
Yes, yeah, of course. He was honored posthumously.
Yeah, that would have been her cousin. Okay. But I'm telling you, when divisions, there's some weaky pipe. Some weak 5.
Here in St. Kitts?
Yeah, in St. Kitts.
And then in the divisions.
Hungry, you know?
Just like the hungry.
When you hear a division start is 5, I think it was a bamboo 5 they used, right?
Yes, a bamboo 5, yeah.
It was high pitch.
I see.
And then, you know, remember the 5 man is the one who determined the song they're going to play.
Yes.
The beat for the drum. When you hear then
that was the signal.
Drum know what tune to play.
Okay, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Well, we leave it. I followed, etc., but all the nuances I would not be, you know, privy to.
Yeah, but if you listen, you will hear the 5 man will start.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would give the tune. Because he gave the variation in the tune, which changes the rhythm and the drums.
Mm-hmm.
But man, they could division and they dance. They had real formation.
Mr. Valentine Manish.
You know, so that
Sylvian is saying that
masquerades were always thought or felt to be superior to the Kittitian ones.
I'm going to put out a challenge. Mr. Val Manish, Sylvian Henry is saying that the bull and the dancers and the fivers of Nevis were far superior to those on St. Kitts? Do you have any
Yeah,
contribution?
they had better ability. I don't know if they had more practice.
I'm just putting it out there, just in case.
No, but
Anyone want to come to you?
And the division would agree, and some Kittitians would agree if you came from the village.
Uh-huh.
And the village used to have the division masquerades. And when they dance was a little different to the Kittitian zone.
Okay.
And even they make up Spanish or whatever they say. Nowadays I hear the young people saying, no, it's kind of foolishness.
Yeah. We want to apologize for anybody who felt that we were leaving up the divisions and the contributions to the cultural landscape.
Yes, you need to apologize.
I am doing so. I want to apologize wholeheartedly for anyone who felt
they were struggling with
offended.
the culture.
They were part of it, yes. So my apologies. Please accept it from my heart. No disrespect intended,
and we need
because
to
your
follow,
contribution is all part
yeah,
of this fabric. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the role of the French. Because the French, every minute the British and the French fighting for St. Kitts and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I read it where the slaves fought with the French.
Well, the British put their slaves to the front and told them if they vanquish the French, they get the freedom. The French did the same. So you had French slaves fighting against British slaves.
But yeah, they're fighting for their freedom.
Yes.
Who wouldn't?
So before we wrap up, we have about 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to give Miss Maku the platform one more time to.
Tell her for me, please. Try and.
She can hear you.
Talk to Jack. I don't know if he could find out the notes or whatever that Mr. Challenger took. Because I challenged him to publish him, and he said, no, he's not going to publish what he had.
Means Zach, the Minister of Culture?
No, Mr. Challenger himself. I asked him, well, you don't write a book or so? He said no. But he kept copious notes, so ask Zach if he saw them or if the family has
Zach.
them.
Okay.
All right, then.
Maureen, it's all yours.
Work on that.
Take us away. Take us
Thank
up
you.
to closure.
Okay. Okay, so I give you a rendezvous on every Wednesday in December for the Cross-Cultural Carnival Dialogue. If you want to know more about Guadeloupe, Martinique, you have people involved in calypso, in the traditional troops, in Jouver, and musicians, in bands as well here, as well as the artists in Guadeloupe and Martinique who will be also showcasing their artworks, their art, their performances, the traditions, etc. So we really invite you to join us, to look at the stream on Facebook, on the Facebook page of the Alliance Française de St. Kitts and Nevis. You can also follow us participate, join us with Zoom. The ID is 811-6869-3310, and the password is 954387. If you miss that, you can contact us at the Alliance Française 465-9415. Through any channel on Facebook, on WhatsApp as well, 667-9019. We will help you to log on Zoom or to see all of the dialogues and interaction on our Facebook page, the Alliance Française de St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank you very much for having us today.
Au revoir, beautiful.
Merci.
I want to thank you all who joined us today, our viewers and listeners, those who actively participated, those who listened, and those who wish to join the program when it's on every Wednesday. Once again, my name is Socrates. It was my pleasure being your host today of Voices. And God's willing, we will be logged on again next week, Monday, from 11 until 1:30. Have yourself a most wonderful week. Goodbye now.
WINN is 98.9.